What?
White chicken chili?
It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share. It's the lion's share.
Welcome back. Welcome into the Lion's Share post Week 1 Lions versus Packers. The Lions go into Green Bay and have an absolute stinker to start off the year, but what can we learn from this and where do we go from here? That's what we're here to talk about here on the Lion's Share. As a reminder, you can always watch us on YouTube or on Spotify video. Let's get into the show, guys, with a little activity. There are absolute lightning rod takes being portrayed out in the world right now. The extremes of fire everybody, this team sucks, and other people saying no worries. I wanted to get a gauge of where we are here on this podcast. So 3, 2, 1 reveal. We'll do that in a minute. We've got a rating here. We've asked the panel here, the board, to do a rating 1 out of 10 of the performance we saw yesterday, followed by a panic level 1 of 10. So, boys, are we ready to unveil?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1 reveal. And for those watching on YouTube and Spotify, so I've got a team rating of 4 out of 10 yesterday with a panic level of 2 out of 10. Mitch is double twos. He gives the team a 2 from yesterday and a 2 from the panic. Andrew, you had a panic 4 high, and what was your rating for yesterday?
Oh, it wasn't a rating. They didn't make the scale.
They didn't make. You guys want to talk about it? What do we think? What are we feeling after 24 hours removed from the game?
I'm feeling a lot better than I was in the moment. Thank God we got that IT Tesla touchdown that I missed. Thank you guys for letting me know. I had turned the game off. I was no longer a viewer or a fan at that point. 24 hours removed, I'm feeling a lot better. Watching some tape, not as bad, but the trenches is where the game was won and lost.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. I mean, we talked about this though. This is where we find out who listens to the pod. We talked about it's going to take a few games to gel and mesh, and you saw it with the O-line specifically. I think you saw when we got gifted, I guess, a non-safety, and you just leave a nose tackle completely unblocked. That's not schemed up like that. That's just miscommunication. It's going to take some time. A lot of thoughts, but it's week 1. I think it's going to be a few more weeks like this. They know it. They got smacked in the mouth early. I think the automatic adjustment is going to be the energy. Seemed pretty flat. I think DC cleans that up really, really quick headed into week 2.
Yeah, all good points. Agreed. Attended the Michigan OU football game not to brag. Shout out to the college football expert for having a bachelor party there. But I felt like I was already entering this game with a negative kind of feeling from what I saw that night on Saturday night. So I was hoping to not be so depressed going into it, but yeah, just didn't feel the energy from the team. That's for sure. For me, a lot of this lies on the coaching staff, and I think it's a product of the approach that this team has had in the preseason, which is not to give some of these first string guys snaps together. And I think that was very apparent yesterday. Offensive line being a glaring issue, something that we've been having the luxury of having a top 5 offensive line consistently over the last couple of years, been able to hang our hat on that. And you can see what moving some guys around and getting some new faces in there can do. And just wasn't what we were used to seeing. We were seeing mistakes made that we would have never seen over the last couple of years, and throw in a new coordinator on offense and on defense. A lot of growing pains to come for this team. And you guys are right. One shining moment, Isaac Tesla with the touchdown. If they wouldn't have gotten that touchdown, they would have gone the whole game without a touchdown, which at that point I was kind of rooting for. I just wanted, if you're going to have a stinker, have it go full out and not even score a touchdown.
That was absolutely unreal. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's my pet peeve when things that are close to touchdowns aren't called touchdowns. It was gonna get reviewed anyways because we were inside of 2 minutes to the end of the game. But it is so irritating. Just call it a touchdown, review it. That took forever. It was unbelievable. What a way to enter the league. Just imagine if we tried to throw him the ball a couple more times throughout the day. What the game might have looked like.
Yeah, I think that's your sign there to maybe let's get this guy a little bit more involved in the earlier in the game, right? That was his one catch of the game.
Okay, Andrew.
Dramatic pause. No, you never know when Andrew's going to talk or not. You just don't know. So I thought maybe we were bouncing it over to BP, but yeah, I mean, Mitch, you want to talk about your other highlight?
He looked good. I mean,
Sam
he
Laporta.
just he had some space around him, but he caught the ball. Felt like he was dinged up quite a bit throughout the year last year, but he looked really good. He looked good out in space. Good, made some good catches, made some good plays, took advantage of it when he got the when he got the ball in his hands. That was a good
Pause.
game from Laporta. There wasn't a ton of bright spots from yesterday, but I thought he looked good. You could throw Bates in there too. Bates took advantage of the opportunities, but kind of a nice resurgence. And Laporta finished the year stronger last year than he started, but I thought he looked good yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's great to see after last season, like you touched on there. He did have a nice end to the season, but he did struggle and was in and out of the lineup with injuries. Earlier in the season last year, we were some were calling it a little bit of a sophomore slump. So it's good to see him come out and lead the wide receiver core with 6 catches, 79 yards. Outside of that, St. Brown, 4 catches, 45. But I like that you brought up Bates as well, because I'm sure you guys saw the stat that Jake Bates had 1 tackle on the day, which was more than Aiden Hutchinson had.
It's really tough.
I think we were all hoping for a little bit more out of Aiden, especially what we heard from how monstrous of a camp he had.
It'll come. He didn't play. He hasn't played football in almost. What was it? What did Nance say? For the 5 seconds, Nance wasn't talking about Parsons. He hasn't played football in like 320 days, and obviously you got practice and the joint practices and things like that. But it's quite a challenge for him to come out, given the environment. He'll definitely figure it out, especially if he doesn't get dropped in pass coverage so often.
I mean, right? That's the thing, is relentless aggression, right? You come after him, come after him, come after him. Eventually one's going to break and you're going to have a big play. You can't keep coming after him if you're dropping back into coverage. Let Jack Campbell sit in the middle of the field. Let Anzalone sit in the middle of the field. I want Hutchinson rushing the passer more than I want Jack Campbell to. Bottom line.
Well, I mentioned it to you guys. It was tough for me to watch. I was watching on the phone for most of the first half on the plane. So, did I also see Davenport get dropped back in coverage, or was I mistaking that for somebody else?
Yes, sir.
That's what's more crazy to me. I'm not saying that I get dropping Aiden in coverage, but we have seen AG did that a couple times, but very rarely, of course. But I think I took way more issue with dropping Davenport back. That's not a position that you ever want to see him be in.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that they thought there was quick slants coming, right? Like, and they weren't trusting their linebackers to get there to cut that off. But anytime we saw that, it was a long pass, like long for Jordan Love on the day. He got the ball out really quick all day long, but they were some of the longest times he held on to the ball.
He had forever to throw the ball, forever and a half.
I think I saw the number of pressures yesterday generated by the Lions defense was like 4 or 6. It's really low. It's the second, I believe it's the second lowest of any team this week.
Behind the Dolphins or what?
Hey, if you're behind the Dolphins, you got a problem. I couldn't tell you who the other team was, but I know going into Sunday Night Football, they were the second lowest with 4. 4 or 6. It was one of the two, but a number that you would expect to be much higher with Aiden back in the lineup for sure. What else do we got? PFF scores as well. Speaking of Aiden Hutchinson, he was one of the lowest rating. Sewell also
stood up
low.
against Parsons,
Kirby
though,
Joseph
to be honest. In
also
the
low.
one-on-one situations, I thought Sewell did a pretty good job. I think the problem was Goff was getting pressure from the other side. There was nowhere for him to escape to when Parsons was in there. And Parsons' one sack was like, it was at the end of the game. Goff isn't going to out. If it's not the end of the game and it's score or bust, he throws the ball away.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That was a total stat line.
Which is fine, but like,
yeah, padding the stats there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the few times he was in, all I was going to say is he really didn't generate all that much. Yes, he was a play, and yes, you have to account for him, but I think my point was you could see Ratledge trying to slide over and help Panay when he was coming and try to give him a second body on him. But Ratledge truly looked like a rookie to me out there. Like he was missing those double team blocks. Like he was hitting his own guys, just kind of being a big guy, getting in the way. And then when he would slide over, he wasn't ready for somebody to come underneath and another guy to come onto his left side there. So it just felt like a lot of growing pains for him, and he's got a lot to work through. But the offensive line has to figure it out. Dan said it after the game. If they don't establish the run, they can't do anything. That's where they are first and foremost.
Yep.
They need to figure out their bread and butter before they figure anything else out. And it's got to be those five
can't
guys
skip
that
ahead
figures it out.
Cinnamon sugar toast.
Yeah, I said it to you guys. Jared Goff is Jared Goff. It's okay. I think we've got a little latency going on, so we'll remember that there's a little pause there. Going forward, but it's all good. I said it to you guys in the group chat about Jared. Jared's gonna have some learning to do. He's had the luxury of being behind a top offensive line, and he's gonna have to work that pocket a little bit better. Just because you got to take it for what it is. It is not going to be the same offensive line without Frank Ragnow in there, and Glasgow playing a position also at his not natural position. So there's going to be growing pains there with the offensive line. What did you guys make of Dan's quote that he put too much on the guy's plate?
I think it's
100%.
him just covering for him, because that's what Dan does. He covers for everybody. He'll wear the bullet vest. He'll take every single shot. Because I mean, Ben, what do we say? Good teams win coming out of a bye. It's the longest you have to prep for somebody. Nay, I take it back. It's before the season. That's how long you have to prep for a team, an entire off season. So they should have been ready. I don't think not being ready for the team is an excuse.
That's easier said than done, right? Like, yeah, you get the whole off season, but you don't know what people are coming out with. You got different looks coming from the Packers, and to me, it just looked. They did in the first half. They looked, especially the first quarter. They just looked completely flat. Packers were energized. They were ready to go. They were excited. Yeah, they're in front of their home crowd, but they just didn't. It wasn't out there. You know what it reminded me of? When the Lions got absolutely curb stomped by the Ravens. That's what it looked like. That's what it felt like. They haven't been that flat since that game. And it showed. It showed.
Similar, yeah.
You saw signs of life. You saw signs of life at the end of the first half, right? Really kind of stalled out by Jared. And I honestly, I think that was overdue because Jared just kept going to the safety valve in the Sun God. And I think he got caught slipping, a little bit of a lazy stare down, and that stalled some momentum. He come out in the second half. Shep makes some really nice adjustments. Johnny Moe didn't. Hard to adjust a whole offensive line though.
Yeah, we had some concerns. Shout out to Mitch earlier in the show about who listens to this podcast. If you guys listened to our preview about this season, something that I was concerned about is Johnny Moe. I didn't have 100% faith in him, but my thoughts were that I was going to be optimistic Thought he's going to do a good enough job, and all the players in the positions would elevate him as a coordinator and help him out. So I think there's got to be some time there. It's just going to take some time, and we touched on that. We thought it was going to be a slow start. This team has started slow in years past, too, because they don't play in the preseason. So it's always been a kind of ramp up. I know we've talked on Dan's quotes in the back in the past about that, about, this. I can't remember the quote exactly, but it was something along the lines of, this team's not going to be firing on all cylinders until like week 4 or 5. And so that's just kind of how it is with the DC team, I guess. You just start a little slow, and they made out last year with an overtime win against the Rams in a game that they started slow as well. Let the Rams back in, I guess I should say. But what my point is I'm not alarmed, but there were some alarming things for sure. Some glaring things that we're not used to seeing.
By show of hands, who thinks that the starters should play some preseason games?
Maybe I'll give you half a hand.
I mean, at least the rookies. Well, Ratledge did, but I mean, Aiden coming off a bionic leg, I want to see him play a little bit. BB should probably. I want at least a half, especially with what we're saying. We're having these growing pains, all things that could have been worked out.
Yeah, and they had the luxury of having that extra preseason game this year too, with 4. So you had a little bit more time too to get some of those guys out there. I'm in the camp. I'm with you, Andrew. I just think that's DC's very firm on that. It's
with a
just never gonna happen.
17-game season, it's like, do you really need it? Is choking 1 away to the Packers in the season opener the worst thing of all time? I'll tell you what. I'll take a week 1 loss and a playoff win over what we got last year.
Oh, I agree 100%. Talked to a lot of guys about this at the bachelor party. They're like, did the Lions really win 15 games? They're like, what did they go last year? Everybody asking me about what they thought I had, or what they asked my expectations for this year, basically. And I said they're not going to win the 15 games that they won last year. And I think you're right, Mitch. I'd much rather take some bumps in the road here in the regular season and not have 15 wins. Maybe end up at our mark of 11 or 12, and be better for it.
I also, before we move on, I'm not gonna not sit here and talk to our 30 to 65-ish listeners and not complain about Tony Romo and Jim Nance. I don't think I'll be able to listen to Nance call golf anymore. He is such a storyline pusher. It makes me sick to my stomach. I thought the same thing when JJ Spawn won his major, and listening to him take a shot every time he says Micah Parsons, you're dead. Congrats, everybody's dead. He talked about Parsons so much yesterday. I get it to start the game, fine. Oh, Parsons in the game, and Parsons is in the game, and this looks like a Parsons. Dude, stop. It was so obnoxious pushing that storyline. Yeah. It got just absolutely insane. Like, to the point, I wish we had a counter for how many times he talked about him yesterday. Just so obnoxious. Talks about him yesterday. Just so obnoxious.
Speaking of, how many times do you think they're going to, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, it's all over the NFL subreddit, but the Minnesota Vikings male cheerleaders. Do you think we get any mention of that on Monday Night Football?
No.
0%.
Because nobody actually cares.
Nobody cares, and that's going to be that's the story of the internet these days, is things become the talk of the town for 2 weeks, and then we forget about it completely. So, do you guys remember the discussion we had about Harrison Butker last year? Like, who remembers that discussion now? Like, it
actually got brought up when he missed his first kick of the year. Wide right. Unsurprisingly, Butker, wide right.
Rich Eisen. Shout out to Rich Eisen. That was a great, subtle little slip in there that I think probably went over the head of 80% of the listeners. So you're right. Yes, we did get a resurgence on that. And also in the schedule release, remember, wasn't it the Chargers threw a shot at him in their schedule release?
If it was anybody, it was the Chargers. They have the most fun with it.
Oh, that social team is second to none for sure. Mitch, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but I'm going to mention too, first Packers home game, week 1 since 2018. So that energy that was in the building, the players felt it that for sure. That team came out ready to play. Shout out to LaFleur and that team. Obviously, having Parsons gives you a nice bump. And last thing about Nance is I think everybody who knows ball knows that Micah is much stronger pass rusher than he is against the run. So he often does come in on third down. He played a lot more downs in Dallas when they're still working him in Green Bay. But we saw that too when he was with the Cowboys. Big third down guy because that's your passing
again,
down.
He got a sack in what essentially was garbage time. 66 PFF grade for those who pay a ton of attention like I do. So, again, that's not to like discredit Parsons. I just he will by the time these two teams meet again, I'm sure Parsons will have a much better game. He also didn't have a preseason, so he'll have time to shake the rust off as well. But it's not act like Parsons came in and just completely I think DC was vindicated when saying they were kind of dogging on DC for saying they were more worried about Kenny Clark than Micah Parsons, and look, he got a sack. He had 2 pressures including a sack. Let's just relax. Kenny Clark is an absolute run stuffer, who also, might I add, helped the Cowboys stay in an absolute game against the Eagles in which they were picked to get blown out. I think they were 8.5-point dogs. So don't doubt DC.
I did love to see obviously Jalen Carter got ejected early in that one, so that changed the trajectory of that game in the rain. What an idiot. Yeah.
Inspiring the youth as well. Had a college spitter the following day.
You're kidding me.
No, I can't remember who it was, but got booted from the game. Obviously.
Also, Dak, I think Jalen Carter is still just what are you doing, dude? But I'm so anti-Dak now for him just being I didn't spit in. Yes, you did, dude. You may not have spat on him, but you definitely spat at him.
Yeah, he has such a punchable face too, man. That little smile afterwards, I would have wanted to beat his face in as well. But I will say, to jump back to the Packers-Lions game, the first home game for them and whatever it was, perfect weather, and you get a top-tier free agent trade essentially right before the season. I don't know about you guys. I wanted to be in Lambeau Field drinking beer for that game. Didn't matter. That looked incredible to be there.
Football weather. It came early this year, early September. Beautiful. Beautiful. You love to see it. But yeah, I think the Lions were going against every obstacle. Mother Nature, the stadium, the media. Took them how long to mention the JMO deal that happened, I don't know, 12 hours before the 16 hours before the broadcast? Would have been a perfect lead-in when you talk about the Lions, and I don't think they mentioned it until second quarter maybe. Would have been perfect.
Well, just like JMO, the rest of the Lions were rather non-existent the entire time.
This is true. From the PFF grades that we have in the document, do you have a name on there that you're like? I'm talking in terms of the negative.
In terms of the negative.
Is there a name on there?
Is there a name on
that's
there?
The echo cancellation.
The echo cancellation, Mitch.
It's bad. Oh wait, I think it's good now. I think it's good. I think it just needed to turn on. Shout out to Tommy in the background there. I think we're good.
Working hard or hardly working, eh, Tommy?
Is there a name on there that you were surprised to see in the bad category?
I know you want me to say Sewell, but no, just because the entire offensive line had a bad game, and usually if there's one bad chink, gotta be completely on the other side. Whew, Tommy, figure it out. It's got to be completely on the other side for that to happen. So, the Sewell bad grade just is what it is. DJ Reed being a little low is kind of surprising. What I wanted to see was Jack Campbell and what his PFS rating was, and I was going to look it up quick, because he was, he's the new leader of the defense. And at times, Anzalone was getting people set. So it was just kind of a little odd. Jack Campbell not getting people in place. Anzalone doing it at times. Jack Campbell did take over play calling. I wanted to see where he came in at. It seemed like he got lost in the wash quite a few times. But that was my big one. DJ Reed seemed a little low. Not shocked by Sewell just because the whole line was bad.
Yeah. Selfishly, I posed that question to you because there is one name on this list, and that's DJ Reed that you touched on. Very, very surprised to see him on there and very disappointed in the performance that we saw from him. He needs to be the CB1 that we know he can be. I was not impressed at all.
I think Reed will figure it out. I mean, I don't want to push the panic button on anyone because I think Terrion Arnold was looking better, but like he was getting cooked out there. And then a groin injury in the second half, it's like, I mean, at a certain point, I don't know. I mean, what are you contributing to the team?
Yeah, that cornerback room, I mean, he's been hanging out with Rakestraw a little too much. That injury prone, I don't get it. But what is the story on TA? It's the groin injury, but what did I see Dan say today? That is it a long-term thing?
No, I don't think so. It's not supposed to be long-term, but I mean, that's where it's like you put Yasin in, and it's like, okay, of course there's a little rust after that. Those guys, but Terrion, to be honest, probably if Love doesn't throw a bad pass, lets up a touchdown catch to Dobbs, didn't look good.
No.
TA had a bad day, and he's got to figure it out. His groin injury was a little reminiscent of give up a bad play. You got to come off the field. I thought that's what was going on, and he was going to be right back in. And then they said he didn't have a helmet in hand, and you're like, okay, how bad can it truly be? And then I know he said after the game in the media sessions that it happened the series before, I believe. So he was kind of trying to battle through it, couldn't do it, and had to come off the field.
Yeah. TA out there, not considered serious with the groin injury, but yeah, DJ Reed really, really surprised me out there, not in a good way. So I'm hopeful that there's some things to work out there between him and Shep and the defense. Offensively, back to that. 46 yards on the ground with Monty leading the way, 11 carries, 25 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 carries for 19. Wanted to ask you guys, we touched on kind of the big three things that everybody's harping on, which is the offensive line play, the defensive line specifically not getting the pressures on Jordan Love, and then kind of just the offense under Johnny Morton. Is there one thing that you guys think is terms of actual panic? Do you think there's anything legitimate out of any of those three that you're worried the most about?
I don't know if it's anything specific, but I think it's what we were talking about before the season, right? You go from the sexy play caller and Ben Johnson to Mr.
You think he's sexy?
Excuse me?
Was it? You think Ben Johnson's handsome?
Put him in a bikini and you never know what's going to happen, man. But you got Johnny Moe. It's like putting him in a bikini. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Ben Johnson. I won't call him BJ in this situation, but I mean, I'm looking at Ben Johnson. We got our Mr. Vanilla out of a cake cone. That's all I want, some soft serve. When Ben Johnson, he's getting that flurry. He's getting some cookie dough.
You are really blurring the lines between sex and ice cream right now.
Hey, man, is there a line?
Clip it.
Not always. Yeah. I legit reasons to panic. No, it's week 1. It's a 17-game season. It's an 18-week season. Hopefully, it's much longer than that. But I think everybody just needs to relax. I think all the Lions fans out there, you know what? I'm going to quote Alex Anzalone. Anyone calling for change at the coordinator level or something of that kind is of lesser intelligence.
Agreed. And it just seems like, why is that Detroit fans of all fan bases, maybe because we're just so close to them.
It's
but
everybody. I think it's because we're in the Detroit fandom, because we read it, we see it. Every fan base is just, you should have seen the Packers fans. I mean, Packers fans think everyone that plays for the Lions belongs in prison, except like Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph have literally committed capital crimes, punishable by death. It's crazy.
remember last year when we put our predictions out for the Lions-Vikings game and the Vikings fans that came into our comments?
Yeah, oh yeah. Good luck tonight, by the way.
Yeah. Vikings-Bears about to kick off in about 30 minutes. Yeah, what is up with BB and anytime he steps in Lambeau, he just chooses violence?
It's not so much the violence. I will say, like, a little disappointed in him yesterday. Like, dude, come on. You gotta bottle the emotions up. He's such a talented football player, and I know that's so much easier said than done, but he has cost his team 15-yard chunks way too many times. You gotta be better. You are better than Tucker Kraft. You're better than Tucker Kraft. There's no reason to do that. Just go out there and let the play do the talking. You don't have to rip anybody's helmet off. You don't have to do that. Like, and by the way, let's also talk like, do these guys like just put your helmet on tighter? Just do the strap up a little bit. That came off so easy. It's crazy.
Oh, it slipped right off.
Yeah, slipped right off. But I just
Slipped like ice cream falling off the cone.
that's what I like. BB's play is right where he picked right up where he left off last year. It's just the emotions that he's got to get in check sometimes. I feel like that's the big thing. We hear a lot from Lions players about that with JMO. Like JMO's maturity has come leaps and bounds. I think now you'd like to see that from Brian Branch a little bit more as well.
Well, I think this was, I can guarantee you teams talk about this. BB in particular, Kirby Joseph as well, to just try and get in their heads and get stupid penalties. They've done it before. They've proven they'll keep doing it just because they can. It's right. You're right. It's nonsensical. And you guys would have to tell me, did he do this kind of stuff in college as well? I mean, I don't watch as much college. Is this why he dropped in the draft to where the Lions got him? Was this kind of in his scouting report?
I think Nick Saban would have actually committed murder if he did this in college. I think he dropped a little bit in the draft because it was like no one knew how his talents were going to translate to the next level. They've translated very, very well because he's just a natural born football player. But yeah, I got to imagine Saban's just like maybe one of the most intimidating people on the planet.
That's true. You also don't have too much money at that point in your life, and I'm sure now he's got a little bit of walking around cash and whatnot. But Tucker Kraft, guarantee he wanted this to happen. I mean, he doesn't like Kirby Joseph. He's made that very known. He wanted to get in their head. He was going to jap them all day long. They just got to be better composed than that.
Well, without a doubt. Cover your ears, shareholders out there. Tucker Kraft, more like fucker Kraft. That's what that guy's 2 catches on the day. 2 catches on the day, by the way. But I will say this about BB. To your point about the draft, I think too. Yeah, Mitch, you're right. I think it was that I think teams didn't know how to use him. You know, was he going to have to shift to cornerback, or was he going to be more of that true safety role? And he found a good place to live in Detroit with the safety room that they have, and I think he can fit in there, or he does fit in there, I should say. So I think he landed in a good spot for both teams. It's mutually beneficial for both. But I don't know why when he goes to Lambeau, because I feel like we don't really see it as much with any other team. It's just something about old Tucker Kraft over there. Yeah, 2 catches, 16 yards. Did find the end zone, by the way. Lions gave up 4 sacks yesterday. That's uncharacteristically high for them. And of course, on the other side, no sacks on the day for the Lions. Defense, Lions crushed the time of possession 35-25. That's one area they really did. They really did, but that was a lot because of the Packers' field position was pretty solid all day long, and the Lions just didn't have that luxury due to penalties and other things. of which they had 7 to Green Bay's 4, and of course 1 of 4 in the red zone. Can't have that. That's probably the big area for me. Is got to be more efficient in the red zone. And touched on it to you guys. We're going to need to see this defense help out the offense a little bit more. Not saying that the defense didn't get it done yesterday. The run defense, certainly the shining moment there. Pass defense has got to be better, and the rush defense getting to the quarterback. But going to have to get some turnovers from this defense to help out the offense. We've seen the offense put up 50 points in the last couple of years in several games to outscore the offense of the other team. And now we're going to have to see the tables flip a little bit. We're going to turn those tables a little bit, and the defense is going to have to help out the offense, get some turnovers, and help out that offense.
Question: the Ravens game, was that last season, year before?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And when was the Patriots blowout?
That was bad too. I think was that year 1.
That was year 1 of this podcast, and year 1 or year 2 maybe of Dan Campbell. That was Bailey Zappi, right?
It was a lot of not goodness. Do we have a fall apart game last year?
That's tough with a 15-2 record.
I don't think so.
We had fall. Yeah, I guess like you said, that we had moments like the Texans' first half was definitely one of those.
But we didn't have complete games where nothing was working.
The Texans game was Jared falling apart. Like I don't think it was like the team. Maybe been the team's best game.
I think Thanksgiving against the Bears, and they won on that fluke, not necessarily a fluke, but Eberflus absolutely sold out the team, and Caleb Williams as well. Lions probably should have lost that game, but I think they were bad across the board, and they're just lucky to be better than the Bears.
Yeah, my only other thought.
I think to answer your question, I think Andrew's asking, have we been blown out? Did we get blown out last year? And I think the answer is no. But that because this roster is so talented. Like they are.
Well, I was saying the last time was our last game.
Commanders?
Yeah, we're just nothing.
Even that wasn't like a blowout. Like you obviously felt like that felt similar to the Bills game where it's like, okay, they just have to score every time they have the ball. But again, nothing will ever be as bad. Like those 2 games that we started talking about, the Ravens and the Patriots, those were bad. Maybe that's where the hate from a certain podcast listener started. So the Patriots game that said Dan Campbell was like a joke and needed to go, was maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that guy around there. Woke his viewership. I don't know. Something.
No, we need him and Eric. Those are our two solid listeners. Yeah, I mean the Commanders game last year.
You're all solid listeners.
That's right. Shout out to the shareholders. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys each and every day. Commanders
apparently
45.
Some more than others.
Yeah. Commanders 45, Lions 31 last year in that game, the divisional round. But the Lions still put up 521 yards of offense in that game. So the offense was still there, and you put out about half the yardage. I think they had 266 yards yesterday. Something in that ballpark. So I guess what I'm going to say is echo Mitch's point, which is the talent and the coordinators well established elevated you to be more in that game. If put it this way, if you had the coordinators that you had in this game against the Packers go against the Commanders last year, it might have been 45-7.
Yikes. Oh, come on.
Well, and maybe that's why this game hurts so bad, right? Is we haven't seen this out of them in a while. We thought we were past these humps.
Yeah, growing pains in a team that was 15-2 last year. So you expect the expectations are higher, and Packers came out ready to play. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't feel like obviously Jordan Love didn't need to, but I wasn't all that impressed with Jordan Love and what he did. Truthfully,
I think that's the best game he's had against the Lions in a long time.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Mitch, and he was not so much. I mean, kind of, not really, but reminiscent of what we say of Jared. Just be a game manager, get the ball to where it needs to be, make good decisions, and he made great decisions.
I 1,000% agree. Thought that when I read the stat line. Thought I was reading Jared Goff's stat lines from last year. 16 of 22 for Jordan Love, 188 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's all he needs to do.
That's all we
But-
need.
But for people to say, like Nance to say MVP candidate Jordan Love, that's crazy. He's not that in my eyes. He's a solid
No.
quarterback. I'll use your word, Mitch. He's a fine quarterback.
Yeah, I just whatever. It's not there for me. Anything else, Lions?
Well, I think somebody put in here the silver lining of the week. Andrew?
Yeah, did you guys have one?
Maybe the silver that you see on the Lions jerseys and helmets. Maybe that's
It's
the
not
silver.
going to get worse. Silver lining. It's not going to get worse.
Yeah, I will say next week against the Bears, watch out, Bears. That's what I'll say. I think this team bounces back in a big way.
All right. Well, mine was that I'm just not a Dolphins or a Browns fan. Because, boy, do the Dolphins look pathetic, and boy, did the Bengals look very beatable. And we can't win because we can't kick field goals. On the other hand, you got Prater flying in overnight, winning games to the Bills. What's going on?
So I was literally going to ask you guys, like, anything stand out from you in the NFL? And I think Andrew may have just stole all three of the games I was gonna reference. So, I'll start in reverse order. Number one, yikes, John Harbaugh, big time yikes. Got to be able to keep that lead. Also, Derrick Henry is a certified problem. The dude may never slow down. He's crazy.
Yeah, he may be the first running back to make it to 40.
I watched
Unbelievable.
one highlight was he ran it to the left side, absolute massive hole opened up, and just the sheer power that he runs with. It is scary to watch him run directly at a camera.
What do they call him? Tractorcito, right?
Chocosito.
That's the best way to describe him. That is him.
Yep, I agree. Bengals Browns, Andrew. What you got to remember is the Bengals start every single year in the absolute dump hole. So yeah, they look beatable. I also don't think the Browns are as bad as people might think, especially with Joe Flacco. So I think the Bengals coming out with a Week 1 win in the division is worth like 3 wins for them. The Dolphins are a joke. Like, I was gonna say, maybe the silver lining is like absolute worst case scenario. If Johnny Moe doesn't work out, we can always bring Mike McDaniel in, get a little bit of that swag, little boy swag into the Detroit locker room, because it looks like it's over for Mike, and it looks like it might be over for Tua too.
That you're. I like
Glad
what you're
you
speaking
said.
over there.
Glad you said it. That guy might be, I mean, we joke about CTE, but boy, I've never seen a quarterback hold the ball at his hip, one-handed, and be surprised when somebody knocks it out of his hand.
For the record, when are we joking about CTE?
It's not. I just want to make sure nobody's joking about it.
Oh, I got you.
Ever.
I got you.
Ever.
Ever. No gang signs from Tua. No gang signs. Yeah, didn't get to catch that game in my travels, but did keep track of the box scores that I saw and saw some highlights. But wow, yeah. Had a feeling that the Dolphins were kind of at that. I think we talked about it in the past. Of just you didn't really know what they were going to be. Were they going to be good or were they going to be awful? And it felt like they were only going to. There was no in between for them. They were either going to be a decent 10-win team or they're going to be a 3-win team. And it certainly looks like they're closer to a 3-win team right now.
If you would have told me going into the week, the game of the week, well, it probably was Bills Ravens, but like a close second would be Jets Steelers, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah, what's up with AG? Did you guys catch any of that game? Is he breathing new life into the New York Jets?
Jets look like a good football.
Yeah, they looked energized. Justin Fields looked pretty good. The thing that I think people saw that hit at the end of the game where Jalen Ramsey decleated Garrett Wilson, but the Jets had like just a shade under 400 yards of offense. So they played a pretty good game.
What do you guys think?
Still looks good.
they got I just looked ahead at the Bills scheduled, or the Jets schedule. They play the Bills next week. Any chance there for the Jets, you guys think?
Honestly, where's it at? I mean, it's going to be close regardless, so it doesn't matter.
It's gonna be in New Jersey, New York. Be with the Jets.
Honestly, I think they've got a chance. I think they've got a chance. It's the NFL. Teams are good. I get it. There's some teams that are above all. I think the Jets looked good enough to beat teams, and it's just what Dan says, and AG obviously is of the same mind. It's these little plays that happen within a game that win or lose you. And there was a few things, I can't remember exactly, but very small. I think there was a turnover by the Jets at some point. They could have won that game. They've got a chance against anybody.
I hope the spinning wheel, which we have not yet named, I hope you get that game.
Small sample size, but if they play like they did yesterday, they'll have a shot. It would not surprise me, and I think I've said this on the record. I think AG is going to be a better head coach than Ben Johnson. It would not surprise me if the Jets had an eerily similar trajectory to the Lions.
Yeah, win a couple games that you're not expected to, but lose a lot of close ones. Is that what you're getting at?
Yep, you just got. They're always in it. They got the fight going in them. And then all of a sudden, year 2, you get to use some high draft capital, really start building in the I guarantee you, AG is going to start building in the trenches. Ben already started doing it in Chicago, so what's going to happen?
Yep. Yeah, no, I am bought in on AG. I'm rooting for him there in New York. We can feel good about that, having him in the AFC. Week 3, who do they have? They have Tampa Bay. I feel like that could be a really solid game against the Bucs team. But anyway, this isn't a Jets podcast. Mitch, what do you say? What do you say if the Lions beat the Bears next week? Andrew has to get rid of the hat.
Fact. Yes. Voted up. Yep.
Shareholders.
Yep.
It'll go on the mantelpiece, but it won't. It's not going in the fire. This is a good hat.
There you go. Retire the hat.
Yeah,
it's a good hat.
I feel good about that. I will say last thing about the Lions too is Lions Packers, I should say. This sets us up beautifully for a big revenge game come Thanksgiving when the Packers come to Detroit and put it in the tickler file. Put it down right now in the notes. I think the Lions take that one in Ford Field. I really do. I think by that point at week 14 or 15 that or maybe it's like 12, 13, whatever week Thanksgiving is, the Lions are going to have that one circled, and I think we're going to see a completely different team by that point in the season. Like I said in my predictions, Lions 8 of 10 out of the bye. I think they struggle in the first half before the bye, but the second half out of the bye, you're going to see a different team. And we're going to be like, remember week 1 when they played so poorly against the Packers? But it's going to take some time. So
we won't remember it.
We won't, just like we won't remember the male cheerleaders for the Vikings. Normally on this show, normally we have a BAM's Player of the Week for the Lions each and every week. We have a BAM Player of the Week, BAM, and then the S comes in when you shareholders vote. This week, I think we're just going to forego that. And also the halftime capsules. Tommy's just not prepared for that, and I myself didn't do one because I'm trying.
Because you didn't do one, Ben.
Well, don't worry, Tommy. Actually, Tommy just talked in my ear. Producer, he says he's got them right now. If you guys want to listen to him,
doesn't seem like you want us to.
Raise your hand if you want to listen to them. The yeses have it.
Just between. Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore.
Well, let's play Andrews.
All right, week 1, 2025, halftime capsule. Thank God I hit that panic button because boy do I want to find it and punch it real fast. I'm scared. It's not looking great out there. This is a game of energy, and the Lions are dead. Packers came out with a lot of energy in the first half. Hopefully that long drive was going to really kill that energy for the Packers. Interception really just drove it up. They've got to hope this second half lulls them to sleep. They come out and get a quick score, and then they need a turnover from the defense. Let's go, Lions.
Thank you, Papa, for that one. Yes. I wanted to hit the panic button as well and just been telling myself, no, It's not time yet. It's not time. Shout out to Mitch for this one.
Halftime capsule, week 1 against the Packers.
So crispy.
I think this is just a glaring bad first half of the season for the coaching staff. Looking at Shep getting too cute, dropping Hutch back into pass coverage. Same thing with Davenport. No one looks ready. I mean, it seems like just not prepped for the week at all. You could say the same with Raymond at the end of the first half there. It's like you get an opportunity to get the ball back, and Raymond just runs a ton of the clock out. It feels like something Fipp would have coached out of him by now. So Lions just look really flat. Did not look excited to play in the first half at all. I think it's a huge knock on the coaching staff, but we'll see. DC just said the team is ready for this. It's not abnormal, and they're going to be good to go. Get an opportunity to start the second half, getting the ball. Got to see some juices from the boys. Got to see some excitement. Look like you're ready to play. Packers came ready. Lions did not. Got to fix the level of energy in the second half. Go Lions.
Tried so hard to get that under 60 seconds. I could hear it in your breath at the end there.
I do that for you. I know you like it.
103 for those who excuse me, 103 for those who are counting at home. Beautiful stuff, boys. I will be back on that next week.
Listening back to Mitchell's halftime podcast there, it just reminded me of something. Why in the hell is Stewart still back there for kicks? What in the world?
What? But like, is that more upsetting, or the fact that like Raymond literally ran out the entire clock to get no yards?
I'm with you. I can't see that bushy tail back there anymore. I can't do it. I don't want it.
It's true. Yeah, Raymond was doing like the Madden thing where you just keep reversing field until you get enough momentum going one way, and it just didn't work. But Stewart, I don't know. Talk to me, guys. Like, is he back there to be kind of like the wedge for the returner there? Is that the idea? Is like follow him and then I don't know, but wouldn't teams kick to him every time then?
Follow him. He missed every block.
But he give him credit. He goes fast as hell at those.
Get him out of there. I don't see why he's the special teams captain. I don't see it.
I just leave it to Fipp. I mean, Fipp's right up there with DC in my opinion for like in Fipp we trust. But like, again,
I
knock on
agree.
the whole coaching staff yesterday.
Yeah, it was just guys weren't ready. Guys making mistakes that we haven't seen in years. Just things we weren't used to, and whoa, let there be light. I think it gets cleaned up, though. I think we're all in agreement in that. I don't know that it gets cleaned up so quickly that it's a brand new team next week. I think there's still going to be growing pains against the Bears. Probably a close game to start things off, and then hopefully some margin in between develops. But we'll touch on that on Walkthrough Wednesday, which will be coming next in a couple days. But keeping you informed, Lions Bears week 2, 1 o'clock, back in the 1 o'clock window, right where they want to be, I think, for this one against the Bears. And then I think we'll be singing a different tune, Lions fans and Lions share alike. Last thing on the NFL, we have an update on our spinning wheel. Guys, we had a lot of good names, by the way. A lot of good names submitted to us from the last episode. I think we got like 20 something. I don't know if you guys read ahead in the document here, but we kind of like the idea of the pigskin spin. What do you guys think about that one?
I like it.
I was getting wheel something with all these suggestions I was hearing. That's pretty good.
So, Tommy, cut a little track here if you want to get a preview to Wednesday when we unveil our predictions for the spinning wheel. Here we go.
And now, time for the pigskin spin.
What do you guys think?
I think you know what we think.
I love the music of it.
It's real and it's spectacular. A little bit of a Seinfeld reference.
I think it'll do well on the socials as well.
Boy,
Yeah,
was the
for sure.
last
That's gonna drive
expansion.
our-
The last boys.
Continue.
Nope.
Oh, what a beautiful way to end this podcast and a beautiful way to end week one. That was just one we'd love to forget, much like this podcast. No, we know what you guys come here for. You come for the banter, you stay for the stats. Something like that. That's our slogan, I think. But anyway, we were all right on our picks week one, I should say. Andrew, you had the Steelers versus the Jets. You took the Steelers, which was a close one, but you got the dub there, so that's one point for you. Mufasa, you took the Bengals over the Browns. They had a close one as well, but they did prevail. And then I had the Broncos over the Titans, which was closer than I thought it would be. But the Broncos did prevail. So we
Not a good week for the Bo Leavers.
no. What's the resident Broncos fan think of that? More to come from the Broncos?
Yeah, I think again, like it's the Broncos had the week one that we weren't fortunate enough to have. They probably played one like their worst game, turned it over 4 times, and still got the W. So that's like best case scenario to shake off that rust. But Bo Nix looked terrible. Three picks and just didn't look good. So
He's missing Johnny Morton out there in Denver, it sounds like.
he'd be available if it were up to the loud minority.
The loud minority. Yeah, exactly. The not so silent majority. We will have more picks for you on Wednesday, and then I think we'll have a secondary wheel where we have some things such as, biggest spread of the week, smallest spread of the week, something a little more fun. We'll have the usual random pigskin spin to test how well we know ball, and we'll get a random matchup. I am really hoping Big Papa gets the Jets versus the Bills for week 2. But we'll see what we get on Wednesday.
Let's
Tune in, folks. And Andrew, I don't know if you saw this either in the document, but what do you guys think for the Lions in the future? We have our band player of the week, our other segments, but what about a nicey or dicey segment? If one of the players, maybe Isaac Tesla made you feel nicey yesterday, but for me, example would be DJ Reed was making me feel dicey because I didn't feel good about it. What do you guys think about a nicey or dicey segment?
Expand that to the NFL, baby.
Or just the whole world?
Take it to the league.
Yeah, something to think about here in the next recap episode, which will be next Sunday, following the Lions and the Bears. But we'll see you all on Wednesday for Walkthrough Wednesday. Thank you, shareholders, for being here. Become a shareholder today. Tell a friend, be a friend. Watch us on YouTube, follow, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram for those short-form clips. Next episode, Wednesday, to preview Lions versus Bears. Until then, let's go, Lions.
Meow.